Hello guys, welcome to this new video. So I recently ran a poll on my WhatsApp and a lot of people said that they wanted tutorials on JavaScript. So that's what I'm going to be doing in this video. And jumping straight into JavaScript. JavaScript is actually a tech or a technology. Some people say it's a programming language. I agree with that. It can also be called a programming language that is used to provide interactivity in a web page. Sorry for that long English. It's just used for interaction. For example, have you ever come to a web page that maybe as you are scrolling, something just pops up and says, hey, do this, or hey, put in your email and the rest? It happens a lot in most web pages. Now, JavaScripts are responsible for that. Or maybe you are browsing and then you decide to you see a button or something that says switch to night mode on your browser, and when you click the button, immediately change the color and everything on the web page change maybe to something support dark mode, to be very specific. That is an example of using JavaScript. So how do JavaScript work in particular? JavaScript works hand in hand with your HTML. For you to be able to understand this video, it's good if you have an understanding of HTML and CSS. I'm also going to be doing other tutorials on that because some people also mentioned that. So jumping up to the straight thing, let us just go on to our HTML file. I've already created a HTML file here called index.html. For us to be able to make use of this, we are going to bring out what we call the boilerplate. HTML people, you should know this. So for VS Code, I can simply put the exclamation mark and press enter and to give me this particular point. So in this document tag, I'm just going to say JS tutorial. Now I'm just going to open this in my, sorry about this. I'm going to refresh this. I already had it open before now. As I refresh this, it's empty. So let's make use of JavaScript now. So the way JavaScript works is that it works with, in HTML, JavaScript works with what we call the script tag. So we're going to call this script. I'm going to have the opening and closing tag. So in between here, we're going to now type in, we're going to do this, type in JavaScript here. So one of the first things I want you guys to learn in JavaScript, and it's a normal thing in all programming languages, is variables. Variables are simply labels. Variables are labels that hold a value. One common example I always use is that we are all human beings. You are a human, or someone else. I am a human. You that is watching the video is also a human. For me to be able to identify you or to label you as this person, I have to give you a unique name. Same thing with labels. With variables, they are all unique names. For example, my name is Augustine. If I'm working with some people and you shout Augustine, I must definitely turn and look because that's me. It's my variable. So there are three ways to creating variables in JavaScript. The first one is called the var keyword. Now, for you to be able to make use of it, you can just say var name is equal to, and we use this. I'm going to explain this later on, and we're going to write a name, Augustine. Now, I want to show you something in JavaScript. It's called this console.log, and I will say name. So let me close this out. If we refresh this now, this is going to be empty. But when we right click, that's because it's empty because we didn't really write anything in the HTML. What we're dealing with now is JavaScript. And remember that console.log, every web page has something that they call a console. So to be able to access that console, modern web browsers, not web pages, web browsers, we are going to right click, go to inspect, and inside this inspect, we come to this console. Now inside here, you should see Augustine, and then you see index.html line 18. This is where I wrote the code at line 18. As you can see, console.log name. So You can see this, and it got me this. So in future references, we are just going to be displaying results of JavaScript inside here. You could even write JavaScript inside here too, and you get your result. So this is one way of using a keyword. The next way is by using let. Now we're going to say let age equal to 20, and we save that. We go back to our web page and we run this. Oh, we're just getting Augustine. Oh, I remember now. For us to actually see our age, we do console.log and we write age. So refresh. Good, we got 20 now. So that's the second way of declaring variables. And then the third way is using the const keyword. Sorry, let is also a keyword. So when we use the const keyword, we use const DOB. This means date of birth. It's not a programming something, it's just an abbreviation I use. So we just say 010102000. So let us do a console.log and then we say DOB. So we go to our browser, we refresh, and we got this. So now what's their difference? Var and let are similar. They are both similar, but they just have one difference that will be seen in another video, not this video. But for now, just like they are actually similar, but they actually have one difference. It has to do with scopes, but I have to explain scopes for you to understand this. So what about const? What makes it completely different from the rest? Now let's look at this. For name, we can change this. We can change name to viewer, and when we run our code, see, it no longer shows Augustine, it shows viewer, because we changed the value from Augustine, from the value of name to viewer at this point, and we got name and we got the viewer there. For age, we can also see age is equal to 10, and we refresh. As you can see, it updated the value to what, 10. But for const, let us see what will happen when we try to change the value. We say const, we don't have to call it again, we just say DOB is equal to, say 10,001, and inside here I refresh, but we got an error when trying to change const. Const means constant, which means that something that is constant never changes. So anything that is a constant variable and we try to change the value like this ain't gonna work. Let's write a comment. Not going to work. This isn't going to work. So this is how we declare variables in JavaScript. Now we don't always write, whenever we're building JavaScript with a website, we don't write everything inside the HTML file. We normally use what we call external JavaScript, and let's switch to that real quick. So I'm going to create a new file here. I'm going to name it just index.js. This is a JavaScript file. Remember, .js is very important. So what will happen is that I'm going to copy all this. Let's cut it out of here and come here and paste it. Now I also save it here. So let's run this. Now we run this and notice that whoosh, nothing is running. Now that's because we have to link this file to the HTML. To do that, we use the same script tag, but this time we don't put anything inside. What happens is that we come here to put a HTML attribute named src source, and inside here, because they are on the same folder, we are just going to pass in the name index.js and we save it. So if we should run this, boom, our two files are connected together. So we will just come here to type out all the code that we need at that particular place. So this is it for variables. When you want to create a variable, we just have to write the keyword, either var and the name. But the thing about it, currently, as you can see, this thing is canceling it and it's saying depreciated. It's when we say depreciated, it means that it's no longer advised to use. It still works, but it's no longer advised to use whenever you are coding. Now, this is because var actually has some issues when it comes to programming. So whenever you are coding, you want to make use of let and const. It's better and way more easier. So to create the variable, use the keyword, a name, and then we assign it a value. So that is it for variables in JavaScript. In the next video, we are going to look at some if statements, and later on we're going to talk about functions and other things. For now, I don't want the topic to be too broad. I just wanted to understand the basics of it. Okay guys, see you in the next video.